What's up, Battleground Z Warriors? Welcome to Super Saiyan Smite Podcast, the show where we power up while breaking down all things Smite, from casual chaos to pro level plays. I'm your host, Real Super Saiyan, Real SSJ, and we've got a packed episode. It's time to go plus ultra. Wait, wrong anime. Let's get into it. Don't forget, we're still being sponsored by Dad's Esports. What was it? Dad's Gaming Esports. I had it written down wrong. Dad's Gaming Esports, supporting dads and mental health awareness. And for those that are new here, make sure to slam that subscribe button and like and comment in the YouTube, because that'll really help us. We're at a goal of 7 out of 500, so we got a long ways to go. So that'll be much appreciated. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our guest, the Mortonman.
What's up, y'all?
Who are you, and what role do you main?
My name's the Mortonman, formerly Cash Money Morty, Mortipotamus, however you want to call me. I'm not picky. I'm a support main by every means. I'd like to consider myself one of the greats as far as the supports, but once you put me in any other role, I go from Obsidian to like Crete bench. Like it's bad.
Bench. Sheesh. Well, do you have a favorite god of all time?
Man, this is a hard one. It's always been Geb. Since I've gotten into Smite for years and years, it's been Geb. He's easily my most played god in Smite 1 by thousands of worshippers, but then when he got brought into Smite 2, I just felt, I don't know, he felt different. And I feel like I lost a little bit of love, and I've kind of transitioned over to Khepri. Khepri's just like a super easy god. You just kind of hang out with your carry, who's like your bestie for the game, and then you hit revives when you need to, and it's super fun. So it's a mix up between Khepri and Geb, but I do want to say Geb for the most part because I got this on.
Geb,
man. Yep. I don't know. I'm gonna say Geb.
And I'm not going to get into myself right now. I want to say something about that, but this is about you. So what's your worst rage moments in Smite? Like that could be Smite 1 or Smite 2. Can you recall like one of your worst like rage moments?
I don't know. I'll be real. I really don't have. Well, you're real, but I don't have the best memory in the world. I'm a crashed out superstar for sure. That's how I'm regarded to by a good amount of friends. I don't know. I've definitely rage quit a couple games. I've definitely like gotten mad before, but I don't know. It's not that common, I guess.
I got you. Yeah, I don't know if I could even say that, but some people have some crazy stories. So my next question is, have you ever rage quit a game? And that already sounds like you have.
You know what? Worst rage moment ever I could probably think of was we had a tournament for the Bean server a couple years ago, and I picked up my own team. Bean got his own team. I think it was like 8 teams in total, and we went up against Bean's team in the first round, and we were slamming. We had a pretty great set of players on our team. I can't remember everyone that Bean had, but I know I had like Fresh Prince. I had MZ. I had. Trying to think. So Pyro, couple of people from the Bean server, and we were running the game all the way through, and then they stole away a Gold Fury, and then they stole away another, and then they stole a Fire Giant, and then we lost, and we couldn't secure 3 objectives, even though our mid is playing Kukulkan. And it's like, if you're playing Kukulkan, your one job past the 25-minute mark is to use Spirit of the Nine Winds on objectives and nuke it before anybody else can, because you have one of the most hard-hitting ultimates in the game. And you couldn't do that one job right, and I got very frustrated very quickly. And it made me look even more silly because I told everybody in the server that if we were able to get enough signups for the tournament, I'd put on a maid suit. So I had a maid fit outfit on a recording, like streaming, and I was just mad as fuck in a maid outfit. Like, past the 25-minute game, I was just so mad. And as soon as it ended, I just turned off the stream, got off. That's probably the worst.
Damn, that sounds pretty crazy. All right, we're gonna go into a little bit of a lightning round, less about you and more about like what about Smite, I think. So buff one god, who and why?
I want to say probably Nuwa, but seeing the upcoming aspect from Titan Talk makes me want to say otherwise. But I mean, maybe that aspect makes her a bit better. But how she is right now in the game, Nuwa is super ass. She just doesn't do the damage that she needs to back her up as being a completely immobile mage. No dash, no anything. You've got ult that like gives you CC immunity, but like you just land back down at a location. It tells the enemy where you're going to land. They're ready for you to land if they've seen Nuwa more than 5 times. They know the timing on your ult. So like it's just impossible to counterplay. It's like, man, I sure do hope I have a Kepri in this game.
Yeah, like especially like whenever Smite 1 or whenever Smite 2 first dropped and she was like, you know, OP just because her damage numbers were OP, but like yeah, now it's like she's the only character that she doesn't have an escape, she doesn't have really like hardly anything. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, and then delete one god forever. Who's gone?
Afro.
Afro. I feel that. I feel that. Worst skin in the game. Do you have one? Smite 1 or Smite 2?
Man, that's a good question.
It could be because of a voice. It could be anything.
Man, that's a bunch of skins. That's a whole bunch of skins that like probably my least favorite skin I've ever seen is the Trash Goblin Scylla. That is just nasty. It's like I don't know, seeing the possums is like just gross. Like I don't like it.
What do you got against possums, bro? That's crazy.
Nasty.
Okay, and lastly, what god do you absolutely need in Smite 2 more than anything else that hasn't came over yet?
I've been saying this for a long time, Horus, because what they're trying to push with Smite 2 is role variety. The fact that like, oh yeah, Scylla can be a mid laner, or we've seen ADC Scylla because you get mana back with the aspect, and that kind of cooks. Like they're pushing for all these gods to do so many different things, but Horus was already a god that did multiple things in Smite 1, which is unheard of.
Right.
To have a god do 3 different roles is damn near impossible for Smite 1, but Horus was seen as a support, as a jungler, as a solo. Whatever you needed, you build towards that. You can get man, what was that healing item? There's like a healing a Caduceus club, or it used to be Caduceus shield. You can get that with Horus. You can get like, I can't remember all the healing items, but you can like build to be a support. You can build to be a tank.
Right.
You can do whatever the team needs as Horus. So like he fits in perfect to this meta that Smite 2 is trying to create, as far as like you don't know what to expect from your enemy. But the only thing I think that's holding him back from coming over is his ultimate not being so clean. Like I don't know if you remember Horus ult, but it's like it's clunky. It feels weird.
It is a little bit, yeah.
And they need that smoothness, especially now that Apollo does the same thing that Horus does. Like you got to bring a big +1 to Horus.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how they would do that, honestly, but yeah, I do like that. And I think as like the game like progressed, like you have these characters where they were just doing more, like towards the end of Smite, like before Smite 2 came out, like all the like the later characters from like, you know, from like I think Set and Horus whenever they came out up until like the last characters that came in did just so much more than the original, which is I think why they transitioned. But like yeah, I can agree with that. I really like Horus. I miss Horus. I miss the like one shot capability, like level 1 in solo lane, but also like, you know, like the super viable ability and within support. It's a lot of fun. And then I'm not talking about a jungler because I'm not a jungle main. And then yeah, so I think we're gonna move away since we got all the introductions out of the way. Let's talk about Smite Prime. I know you've been covering it a lot, like since it got. Let's talk more so like the most recent, so that way we can be more in like today's times. Tell me a little bit about like what you've covered of the Prime circuit and get people to understand like your involvement.
So I first got brought in as a spectator. All I did was just control the camera, but Jithens got to know me from the other casters. They recommended me as like, oh yeah, Morton knows how to do production. He does good with the spectator. I used to be a production manager for insert dead name of Smite League here. Used to be into in production for that, and then Jithan saw, I was like, okay, I'll bring you in. We can try it out. So voluntarily, we all came in and we did Smite Prime throughout the later part of 2024. And this is basically teams that were looking to practice for Founder Series before the knockout LAN happened, when all the big teams were coming together, when like huge names like Elion first got knocked out from Haddix and that whole controversy. And then there was also Cowabunga, had like Paul, Aurora, I think Solo Patrol was on that team. Like a lot of big names were all fighting in Smite Prime to practice for the Founder Series, because that's what everyone was after. But once all these teams got knocked out of Founder Series, they stopped signing up for Smite Prime, and then we took it down from there. Well, Jithan took it down from there, and then we all got brought back in March when the player base started bumping up a little bit, and that's when all of us pretty much got brought back. We got now instead of voluntarily, we got contracted by Hi-Rez to work for Smite Prime now. So it's been fun. I was doing spectator earlier in the fall, and now I'm a caster as well as spectator. Just kind of fill wherever I'm needed.
Okay, I got you. And how do you think the Smite Prime scene has kind of evolved since it started from now until now? Well,
There's
since
a
it
lot of
started in
passion.
Smite 2, sorry.
There's a lot of passion behind the players that do Smite 2, Smite Prime specifically, because what you're looking for in this cash prize takes over a month to achieve. Like, you pretty much have to play every weekend for a month and take dubs throughout each weekend for the month. I mean, not 100% that way. Like, obviously the finals means more than everything, but you have to qualify throughout the earlier weekends, and then the last weekend is like, hey, all those teams that qualified are now going to duke it out in the finals, and then whoever wins the finals will win the cash prize. So it takes a good amount of time and investment. I think I've seen some of these players like Lasbra and others who just, they do one tournament. Like, if it's a 1 day thing, oh yeah, for sure, I'll play for 1 day, and if I don't make it, then it's just 1 day. It's not that big of a deal. And if I win, then I get a huge cash prize. But these players that are playing in Smite Prime aren't doing like a 1 day event. They're doing a 1 month event. And it kind of keeps you determined. It really shows the passion from players like Cherry, leader of Cherry Slush, obviously, like Karmic, Kaveka, Kiaka. I mean, there's like a lot of big names that are just like keep signing up, not because they just want the money, but because they love the game. And I think when you have that much time to play around with meta and everything like that, you just see some crazy things. I am shocked about how many times I've seen Guan Yu in Smite Prime. I think he's complete trash. I think he's terrible. He's not a bad support, but like, people are playing Guan Yu solo in Smite Prime, and I'm like, what vision are y'all seeing? I don't know. I kind of branched off a little bit, but it brings a lot of like what you wouldn't think is meta might actually be meta, or it could just be some Smite Prime people kind of trying things out and not really working out. But it really busts wide open the role variety that Hi-Rez is trying to go for with Smite 2. It's fun to see.
I got you. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted by the burb, and Alexa's like yelling at me apparently. Anyway, yeah, there's definitely a lot of it's a big investment. Like, it's a very big investment to, like, compete and even organize Smite Prime. So like, I props to whoever is in it. Like, I wouldn't be able to play in it. I probably wouldn't be able to organize it or anything, just because, like, my time investment is very low for what I have for what I'd like to like get into Smite. But
Yeah.
do you have any stories like coming like into like a set or something that's very memorable, like while like or like during casting or organizing a set or a day or something? Maybe I asked that question weird, but I had a vision, I swear.
There's I mean, we definitely have like funny stories. Like, whenever we first got contracted in during March, or I think it was February, when we were doing all the setup. Jithan's asked for us to send headshots in. And whenever we first transitioned from picks and bans to the game, that something plays on the corner of the screen saying like, "Hey, just so you know, these are our casters. This is production. Who's running the show right now for you to watch?" And we basically sent in like cringe screenshots of each other like like trying to get Jithens to use like, oh yeah, here's one for Malin, by the way, and like he's looking silly, and like here's one for D'Lo, and he's like no beard, like short hair, just looks weird. Like it's just like just weird pictures of ourselves. Somebody sent in like the maid picture of me.
That's
Like
crazy.
dude, that was a fun one. There's also been like an ongoing, it's almost like a curse of Smite Prime, that every single time we get to the grand finals, like the last game that's playing, it's like the best of 3. We go to game 3 and we're in like the thick of it. Like this team's about to end the game, and then there's like a game breaking bug. Like Sunprod's playing Fenrir, and all of a sudden he goes completely damage immune. And it's because of an interaction between uh Scepter of Dominion and the tower or something like that. Like it just like interacts weird, and now Sunprod doesn't take any damage for the rest of the game. And then somebody pauses and like, hold on, even though we're about to lose right now and Sunprod dying doesn't really make a difference, like we need to address this controversy. We need to do this, and like there's just like it's bugs and people
Yeah.
DCing, like it's always something that like messes with the grand finals, and then
Right.
Jithens is behind the scene like, holy crap, what do I do? Like, this game is busted, bro. Like this didn't happen for the past month, and like now we have to deal with this. Like it's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super that's super unfortunate. Yeah, it's hard to deal with like issues like that. Like I've been in like community like esports a lot, and like whenever it comes to like games messing up or something, like it's always like a huge deal. And like yeah, I could see for like something like, you know, Smite Prime, or even like the pro scene, which I mean we haven't started the pro scene yet, which I hope starts, but it's a much bigger deal to deal with.
Right.
Um, and I think I've did I already ask that question? How do you prep managing an event, like before going into it? Like what do you personally do, or like, or is you just show up and cast and
Just show up, big dog. I haven't done management of any
yeah,
type for quite some time, and I think at that point, like management sucks. I feel like it just was very stressful, and it's hard to handle situations on the fly when like I've got a day job, I've got a family, like I've got things of my own to take care of, and
right,
now it's like I need to take care of this like immediately. So it's hard to like make time out of your day to do that kind of thing. But for as far as casting goes, like I just show up. I mean,
okay,
you once you do enough casting, it gets to a point where this just feels like a second nature thing. Like your method of speech and everything else is like it just comes like if fluidly as soon as like Tess goes and we're live and it goes, hello everybody, my name's the Mortonman, join to, like it just kind of immediately clicks. And I don't really need to do a whole lot of like mental
right,
thinking before that. I know Malum will do this like whole thing where he's like, bitter batter bigs up a batter, and then his batter tasted bitter, so his bitter batter didn't taste very good, and he threw it in the trash or like something like that. He has like a whole bitter batter, like I don't know, but I'm also not on Malum level, so maybe I should be doing that. It's crazy.
yeah. That goes back to the movie that I watched the other day. What I said it earlier, The Anchorman. That
Yeah,
like it was basically the same thing right
yeah,
before I started. I was being weird.
yeah. Like,
Eh,
like it's just something crazy like that.
that's really funny.
That movie's a trip.
And do you think high res is supporting enough or too much to esports right now? How do you feel about that?
Well, let's look at it like this: when you're a caster, when you get to, it doesn't sound very humble to say like my level, but like I'm involved with a lot of leagues. I am cool with a lot of like league owners. I just kind of know things just from being around, and I think that high res is very careful about who they are giving money to, who
Yeah,
they are like supporting.
they really
And
are.
I will say, to back up high res on this, they have done a great job of backing the people that are reliable, confident, and deserve that cash funding. And for the people who have not gotten that help, they're probably not deserve, like there's a reason why these things happen.
Right.
I don't know. I think the big dogs that should be handling high res money like that, what little is left from the so-called esports scene, budget, they're being careful with it, and I understand it.
Yeah, for sure. And then okay, let's get down to the games. Like, how predictable have the comp games been? Like with picks and bans, is there a lot of versatility, or do you feel like there's a lot of the same with a lot of these players and comps?
It's hard to tell. I think that there's like a lot of, now that we're up to 3 bans competitively instead of 2, it definitely changes how things go, but for the most part there's still like a specific set of gods, like a good 20 gods that you will probably see picked or banned in each game, and there is very little exception to that. Like those 20 gods are always in, and some have rotated out. Like a Bracken used to be a pretty reliable solo laner. We see that from Snatty, we see that from Remakami, and it just, we don't see it all the time anymore. Like some gods rotate in, some gods rotate out. Some gods drop and immediately make their way in there, like Ganesh, who, with or without aspect, is just cracked. So it's better to just ban away one of the 2 gods that he could be and just completely dominate the game. But yeah, those like same 20 are like pretty much always there, and I think it's
Neath.
because yeah, Neath.
Like that Neath needs a nerf so much, bro. Like can we just nerf the god one time? No, we're just gonna keep buffing her and just let her play.
Yeah, I guess.
Since
I mean,
release, right? Since release, she hasn't been touched, only been buffed, and she's been at the top
Yeah.
of the play the entire time, right? I'm not
that was
crazy
a
about
huge
that.
thing in Smite 1 too. I don't really know about her like buff history in Smite 2. Even though I'm more actively paying attention to Smite 2 patch notes now,
Yeah.
I know that she didn't receive, and everyone made a big deal of this, she didn't receive a nerf for 11 years of Smite 1. And finally, right before Smite 2 hit like the alpha weekends and everything, like everyone was playing Neath mid. There was like a lot of like popular hunter mids, like there was Martikaris and
Right.
Chiron and AMC, and Neath was one of those as well.
Yeah.
And she finally received her first nerf in Smite 1 after so long.
That's crazy.
She does deserve a little bit too. I think what makes this hard to address though is she has like just multiple ways to play her. Like you can just go like high attack speed machine gun carry with the aspect. You can just rely on her high intelligence scaling and take her in the mid lane where she's seen most often. I don't really see Neath carry that often, but I do see Neath mid like all the time. She
Right.
heals up like her entire health bar from Unravel. You just hit the wave. She's got multiple hard crowd controls in kit. Like she's broken. It's crazy, but she's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it goes along with like, she's one of those picks that they will try to force players on, like whenever you first start out. And I think they like to keep her strong. Like I think there's select few like
Yes.
characters in the game where they're like, these are easy characters to play. We should like always keep them viable for people to play. So, and I
Yes,
think
I agree
Neath
with
is just one of those, and I think she will get nerfed eventually. I think a little bit because like I think she basically can run every game that she's in. I think
agree with
she's
that.
just too safe, especially now she can go over walls, like all these things. Okay, let's get into the next question. Standout picks, bands, teams, or like sleeper players that you like to watch or think are just cracked and like like uncontrollable, I guess.
Players like people like not the gods, like the players. You mean right?
Yeah, probably like players on certain like standout picks, maybe. Right. I think it's more about the players.
Tegvir on the Susano has been a menace in the mid lane for like quite some time. We've seen a lot more assassins transition into like the mid lane. I think that's a little bit of inspiration from League of Legends. That's always been a thing for League, but now we're starting to see a little bit of it in Smite Prime and just pretty much everywhere. Even AGL. Last night I casted an AGL set and Tegvir was in the middle lane with Susano through like 2 out of the 3 sets and just was an absolute menace. And you just get so much movement with somebody like Susano. You have like multiple dashes moving around the map. You've got like a good gank setup, so you can just rotate to duo or solo when your jungler is busy doing something else. Like it's so wild to see like how that's a crazy pick, but it really is. Like you just got to see it to believe it. SpongeBob on the Jingwei is absolutely scary. I think like 1 or 2 grand finals with SpongeBob. Man, Remikami on the Athena is absolutely crazy because like you get no kill potential against Athena because she's safe as hell. She's got a
Mm-hmm.
dash. She's super tanky. She has block stacks. Like there's so much to love about Athena's base kit, but then you can just kind of show up wherever. It kind of reminds me of like a Shen from League of Legends vibe, and you're
Mm-hmm.
able to split push over. Like instead of me needing to go to the teleporter and then go to the other teleporter and then come to my team in Gold Fury, they're walking to Gold Fury. Bet I'll be there in a second. Like you get so much global pressure from Athena, and because of how much farm is in solo, you don't really get behind in levels. You're the other solo catches up and beats you a little bit, but for the most part, like you're keeping up with the rest of the game, so you don't really feel behind. You have so much. Ugh, what the heck was that? So much global pressure. Like that's a scary pick for sure. I haven't really flexed the Athena solo in my comp games, but might try it out.
Might try it out. Yeah, I do enjoy it. I feel like she's kind of sleeper. Like feel like Athena in general is just kind of sleeper right now. Like
Yes.
she she does kind of anything you want her to, and you can build her many ways.
And you saw the recent buff, right?
I don't. Which one?
So
She released an
this
ult cooldown, right? I remember that.
there was that, and she also got increased. So if you're wondering how your shield comes in, it goes off of Athena's max health. They recently changed Gauntlet to give you health instead of
Right.
protections, so you get a very high health build
Mm-hmm.
with Athena and support. You could go Gauntlet and solo. I think I saw that from Mikami once. You get a bunch of health, and then your shield just is humongous. Like a Kraken doesn't even break the shield. It is crazy to see. Like it makes Athena so much more powerful that
Right.
like this isn't just like here's a little shield while I show up. It's like, hey, you don't die for a little bit. I'll be there in a second. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome. I love it.
That's crazy. And my last question on esports and Prime right now is going to be how is the meta shaping up in Prime, and how could that transition into like maybe an SPL scene like later on? Do you feel like it's healthy? Do you feel like it's unhealthy? Um,
It's pretty good right now. I feel like we're in a good spot. Tanks are a little dead at the late game right now. I mean, tanks are kind of just like setting up fights and then they just
Yeah.
get wiped away for the most part. Very few exceptions to that. I think that Geb is very naturally tanky. I think Sobek, if he's able to keep getting those Sob executes, will get a lot of max health, and then you can combine that with a gauntlet or something else, and then you get a Phoenix shield to just keep healing yourself up. Like there are exceptions to tanks just dying all the time, but tanks kind of
Right.
just die all the time. Achilles getting buffed will definitely change that. Bellona getting buffed will probably change her up a little bit too, but tanks are just kind of like setting up fights, and I think the tanks living a little bit longer would probably be a bit healthier, but for the most part, like they have a great mid to late-ish game, and then once you get like 2 fire giants under your belt, once that 35 40 minutes, everyone's stacking intelligence pots and strength pots, and you just can't hang because there's no like defense pot, which understandably I don't think we should get one, but
Right.
it hurts tanks the later on into the game that you go because they can't get any more protections. They are as tanky as they will get for the rest of the game. The carries will continue to get stronger and hit you harder. I mean, that math just checks out. Like, yeah, they're
Right.
just gonna fall behind pretty late. But
Yeah. Which
other
is
than that, I mean, it's go ahead.
which is like I think that's how Smite's always been. Like tanks and like I don't think they ever need to make a tank meta that's like late game tank meta because that's just unhealthy for the game. You can't kill anyone.
Yeah.
Like you want to be able to kill people, and like building to do damage and then not being able to do damage because everyone's just building tank late would just be annoying. Like no one's
fair.
going to enjoy the game. Like tanks have their time to shine in the early game. So let's branch off and talk about something that was a big deal like earlier on in Smite. More, I know you were really passionate about like a really passionate voice in general about the Smite scene, especially whenever it comes down to high res management side of things. You were pretty outspoken when high res went through the layoffs. I think that perspective still matters today as we watch Smite 2 take shape. How are you feeling about the direction now? Do you think some of those concerns still apply?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get over. Like, there's a couple things to keep in mind. Well, I'm very personally attached to Smite Esports, so like when those layoffs hit, obviously like the first round of layoffs hurts too because it's like these are people working on our game and we love these people. Viper Shot, like a couple other names, Tina, that hurts for sure. But I wasn't like emotionally attached to esports. Like we just got back from Founder Series. We literally just finished the Vegas Founder Series.
Mhm.
And the day before that whole event started, like I'm sitting at dinner with some of the other casters like Trelly and Inbound and Malum. And it's a vibe. It's a great, like I love talking to these people. These are like my heroes, and like it's a great time. And then looking at the event was phenomenal. Like one of my, it's probably one of the best vacations of my life. Like going to the Vegas Founder Series was awesome. The vibes are so high. Like we were literally all talking as casters. Like I can't wait to go home, like fly back home and play Smite 2. Like we just want to play the game, and we're slamming queues for like 2 weeks. And then rumors start going around. Weekend says something on Twitter. What? Huh? And then layoffs hit the next morning, and we are in panic mode. Like
Yeah.
all of my friends lost their jobs, and it's like this sucks. Like a
Yeah.
lot. That also leads to them breaking promises. I think that's something that every player can feel. I mean, the first part was just my emotional attachment, but now this goes speaking for the whole player base. We were promised in Vegas 2 weeks before the layoffs, one god a week. We should have double the gods that we've gotten in Smite 2 right now, because right now it's like 2 weeks kind of, and it should be double that. But we also laid off a bunch of people working on the game. So yeah, we don't have that on us. That sucks. Why did we make that promise if we were not going to follow through? Like, why was that allowed to be said on air in the most viewed Smite 2 event ever? And then we throw that in the trash because, oh yeah, the budget looks a little tight. Bro, what? And now we're missing like half of the gods that we should have. Like,
Right. It's
I don't
almost
know, it's
like
dumb.
they knew at the time before they made the promise. There's no way they couldn't have, unless like the person in charge,
Yes.
right? Unless like the person in charge had no idea, and then like, why do you have that person in charge, right?
I think the person in charge knew and then didn't relay the message down and allowed these things to happen, even though he knew. He just didn't
Yeah.
relay the game to the rest of us. And
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Like so I was kind of like, I've always been like super. What's the word? I lost it. I've always been like devoted to Smite and like always had like a very positive view. And even whenever like all this stuff went down, I was very like on the opposite end. I was like, everything will be fine. Like, but I didn't like get super like emotional. But like after reviewing how I reacted to all the information, I feel like I definitely could have had a little bit more like heart, like whenever it came to like all the players getting laid off, or all the work, like people working getting laid off, and all the promises that were made. And like I didn't take everything into account. I was just being like, positive me. I was just like, everything will be fine. I kind of
Yeah.
just ignored it. And I feel like I was wrong a bit in that sense. But after like talking to you and everything, I kind of just, I think I got, I don't know how I was gonna word that, like emotional or whatever. And I don't know. It was a weird time. I think it was hard for everyone, regardless of what side you were on. So,
It's hard to even be on a side. I don't think you're wrong with being positive, because being positive pushes good things for the people that are still up there, because we still have names that we love. Just because we lost some doesn't mean that we don't love the rest of the people that still kept their jobs. So Isaiah, Kilgoon, Pon, Clumsy, like these are still people that we really want to see succeed, and giving in and deleting the game, being all upset hurts the rest of them too. So we want to try and support the friends that we have left, and then hope that the people who got laid off find jobs and end up on better notes, which is what happened to me. J-Mac works at a warehouse, and a couple other names have found jobs elsewhere, and it's been good for them since then. It's just,
yeah. Well, I think that's enough of the emotional talk. Let's get into the hot fixes that went live July 3rd. There was two of them. The first one was in the morning, and then the second one was in the afternoon. I'm just going to go over these really quick. There was a lot. We're just going to kind of skim through them. Okay, so they fixed several crash cases where people's game were crashing. Fixed an issue where the Joust teleporter was also matching the 10-minute marker. Fixed an issue where the assault map were large areas with unintentional blue lighting issues. An issue where sound effects were to the new cues added. Okay, they added sound cues. I like to go over this stuff just so I would know. And then fix an issue where Mercury's basic attacks were getting desynced when using maximum velocity mid attack chain.
That's been it was a huge issue for a long time with like a multitude of gods like Chalk and Hercules. During like the closed alpha, a lot of them just had like really mixed up like attack chains. Like you would like swing, and then your actual like damage number would pop up like so much later, and that was like it made me feel so bad about Smite 2. It's like the worst thing that like just happens on a consistent basis, and you're like, oh, there it goes again. Like it sucks.
Right.
But it seems like it's an odd issue with some gods when they drop, and it rarely happens outside of that, as opposed to like it used to being like a continuous thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's a good bit of work to like, we have a Smite, we have a lot of gods, like compared to, I mean, I guess not compared to most MOBAs, because like you only have like what, the big three, like Dota, League, and like Dota still has more characters than Smite, right?
Then Smite 2, yes. Then Smite 1, I don't think so. I think Smite 1 has like a little bit more.
Yeah, and
I can double check that.
League has almost like 200, right? Like 180 or some shit. It's a lot. I'm pretty sure. My facts are probably wrong. So I just remember seeing something along those lines.
Dota 2 has 126. Smite had 141. Smite 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then
141, really? I thought it was less. Okay.
League has 171.
171. I was close. Yeah. So like on average, like all these games started at the same time, right? Like League, Smite, and Dota kind of all came out around the same era. So it's a lot. It's a lot to work on, like at all times, especially like starting fresh, like Smite 2 has been. Then fixed an issue where sometimes minions would moonwalk and behave in an unintended way. Adjusted a combat dodge and quick play, which we're going to get into that soon. Fix an issue where Mercury's maximum velocity was making him root immune. Fix an issue where Mercury's special delivery was not knock up immune. Fix an issue where Mercury was stuck in a spinning animation. Do we have a video of that? Bro, that sounds crazy.
That sounds nuts. Man, this guy's buggy as hell. Look,
No.
Golly.
That's why I wanted to go over this, because there was a lot. Fix an issue where Mercury's passive and powered basic attacks was not considered bonus in-hand power or intelligence. Fix an issue where global emotes were appearing too large for player action cam. Then an issue where a Wheelix could no longer summon Suku if she died to Mercury's special delivery while on Suku. So like if she died to Mercury, she wasn't able to summon Suku after she was alive again, which is weird.
Crazy.
Fix an issue where a mouse cursor was not showing up on Xbox. Bird? My love, we need a bird save. Then we'll get into the second round of patches. Where'd the bird go?
Thank God for the reduced level requirement to play classic queues, because that was terrible. That's like the worst thing. I mean, I guess it like hurts the Smurfs. Like the Smurfs have to like put in more time to like terrorize community that they want to, but also like I have friends. This literally just happened the other day. I had like 2 friends that wanted to get into Smite 2, and like they only played like a little bit during closed alpha, not enough to hit level 5. And now that they come back, they can't play the game that like they were vaguely familiar with, like they've already played. the classic conquest, whatever, and they also played in Smite 1, and
Right.
now they can't do that. It's like, dude,
So
why would I want to come back to bots?
yeah, so what I think they need to do, if you had X amount of hours in Smite 1, then you could play without having any tutorials or anything in Smite 2. Does that make sense?
Yes, but
I
also
think it'd be
that
hard.
would require you linking accounts beforehand, and not everyone did that. There were some people
Yeah.
that took like years long of a break and then are just now coming back. How does Smite 2 know how many
Right.
hours this guy had in Smite 1?
Yeah, I could see that being difficult, but if they found a way that could easily be like because like I don't know, I
Yeah.
signed into Smite 2 and linked accounts like immediately because I was like I want my gems, bro. Like
Right, yeah, yeah.
but so I think doing that could like keep people because like not being able to play like 5 to 10 level like 10 levels especially or 15 levels to play ranked is a lot of time investment. I know you have to be level 15 because I had someone pop into my stream yesterday. Surprise. I used to play with him a lot and he's like, "Bro, I'm trying to grind out this 15 levels." And I was like, "That's a lot to play ranked in my opinion."
Yeah.
Especially for someone who plays Smite, you know, who has played Smite. So,
Yes and no. I feel like you need to get some games. I don't know how long it takes to get there is the thing. I feel like there's like a correct number of games, and it's different like per player, but there is a lot of change from Smite 1 to Smite 2 with itemization
yeah.
and where gods are going and what aspects do. There's like a lot more to
Yeah.
learn. This isn't just like Smite 1 where you do all the basic things and this god does this one thing, so I know what he does. This god does
Right.
this one thing, I know what to do. Like, there is so much more variety now that it takes some players getting used to like what you could potentially see when you first hit the rank queues and how to handle it from there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it does definitely feel like a new game whenever you start. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah. Let's move on with this. We already talked about the level requirement that got reduced. Reduced the amount of tickets in quick play arena to from 400 to 350. We're still gonna get into the quick play here soon, like after we get done with these patch notes. So resolved an issue where PC players using mixed inputs, controller and keyboard and mouse. I guess it was having issues. Rama's basic attacks were fixed with his one. Should now knock back minions directly. Rama feels terrible, I think, still, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. I can't play that character. I was a huge Rama fan. They needed to do something about Rama, in my opinion. Just a little bit of a buff or something. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not building right. I don't think so, but anyway. Disabled. Go ahead.
You need to see the sauce. I think you need some sauce. I think you need to try the aspect and go for the hard hitting basics. Like, instead of going for attack speed, like go for the strength, and like you can knock out health bars with a couple basics.
So I couldn't play Heimdall in Smite 1. I really like enjoyed like the slower basic attacks, but like I couldn't hit them enough. I needed that attack speed to be able to like hit more autos. I am on keyboard and mouse now, but like I still have a hard time winning trades with a slower attack speed. If
Practice
that
makes
makes
perfect.
sense. Yeah, practice
Sounds
makes
like a skill
perfect.
do.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll work on it. How has it been doing? And have you seen it played in Smite Prime or anything? That would
Yeah.
no.
I've seen it in AGL. I haven't seen it in Smite Prime, but I've seen it in AGL, where people are going for aspect and then going for higher strength and putting less priority on attack speed. We're going for Crusher, we're going for Heart Seeker, we're going for Titan's Bane. We want to be able to just also hit tanks just as hard and
Right.
help out with clear when it comes to
Okay.
objectives. So you do need like penetration, but also like just a whole lot of strength, and your basics will hit hard as hell. Like, you always have that astral arrow that just hurts like hell.
Yeah.
And I think it's reliable enough to where
Okay.
like you aren't a carry like that, but like you can handle yourself, and your ult hits like a truck. That's like the biggest thing, is like you can really just put a threat on the back line. When if you can accurately hit those snipes, then it's like, oh my god, where do I go? Like,
Yeah.
it's scary.
I do like his ultimate. His ultimate feels really nice. I think
Mhm.
it's just the attack chain and like it just I just haven't been able to be successful with it.
One thing that I really like about Smite 2, and I think it's not talked about enough, is how Zeus is actually a counter to Rama ult. because the cloud that Zeus creates blocks out the gods and the health bars. So it's almost like they're smoke screened for Rama. They can't see. That interaction is like, I don't know if it's intentional, but it's so cool. It's like an actual counter to Rama.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna pause. I can pause the recording, and then we'll be right back. Like for the people that are listening, I have to pee, so I'll be right back. Where were we? Disabled the ability to beads during Aladdin's ultimate. Um, Channel stasis. This fixed an issue where you could use beads and they would not do anything, but still go on cooldown.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Beadsing Aladdin's ultimate is tricky. It's weird. It's super weird. Mercury's
Yeah.
made another Mercury bug. Made you look now scales 70%. Basically, which is this is actually a huge buff, by the way. Rather than 70% strength, meaning the ability will do more damage. His one. And that's all for hot fixes.
Good stuff.
Lost my train of thought. So, I've been talking about this like throughout all the hot fixes and stuff. Let's talk about quick play. Mort, I know you're a big arena gamer. Have you played the quick play? How do you feel about the changes that are in arena now, in quick play? The mini dash, faster paced games, projectiles are the three main like factors that I'm thinking of.
The mini dash is cool. I'm a very big like combat blink advocate, and I think it's kind of the same thing, but I don't know. You're kind of putting training wheels on what Smite is, and it's cool that it can attract like a new set of players if they like only want to play quick play. And for example, like Bear, who's one of the head honchos over at Dad Gaming Esports, he's not a very consistent player. Like he's very new to the game, and he just goes on and he's having fun with it regardless, but he doesn't know the game very well and kind of needs that help. And there are some gamers that are a lot more casual but still really like the concept of playing as mythological gods. So this being like their own game, I'm okay with. I think I'm cool with that. And if they want to get better at the game and move on to what we know is Smite, then that's fine too. You just got to be ready to take the training wheels off and realize this is where the big dogs play. This is the real game. But if you want your own little game, it's like different than Smite 2, then I mean, it's cool. It doesn't hurt us. It brings new players in and they have fun with that. But the only issue I could ever see happening is like, let's say I get a new boss at work. Oh yeah, I've been playing this new game called Smite. Oh yeah, you play Smite 2? Yeah, I play Smite 2. That's cool, man. And then like you link up to play, and one of y'all is like a long-time old head veteran who's like been in it consistently diamond for rank conquest, and the other one's like, yeah, I really like quick play. Like they're like two completely different games. Like, bro, you're gonna make me play quick play? Like that shit is trash.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. It's much different. Pacing, like everything about the game is different. And like they were talking about maybe adding it to like the main game if people liked it, which I personally hate the mini dash. Like I can't deal with it. It doesn't feel like Smite. It's definitely like training wheels, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I think, but the issue that I'm finding is they didn't want to separate the queues. Like they didn't want these people playing this and these people playing this, and that's exactly what they ended up doing. Like there's two conquest queues. There will be maybe two joust queues, two arena queues, basically. I guess this is temporary, and I don't know if they'll just add it to, but I feel like it will stay separate. I feel like it'll just be separate. There's going to be an arena, conquest, and joust in quick play that are going to be faster paced, and then there's going to be arena, joust, and conquest in casual queues, and then there's arena, conquest, and joust eventually, hopefully, in ranked.
Yeah.
Which I think may be problematic unless they just make the joust queue not in regular mode, right? like in
Mm.
what is it? What do they call it? The
Classic.
classic. Unless they take out classic joust and just add it to quick play and then add in ranked. Because I think we do have a decent following for ranked joust, not as much as like some of these other modes. But I still feel like it's just separating the players, which is the main issue that they've been working on trying not to do.
Yeah, that's a good point that you make. I think that but here's the thing though, is like quick play is going to be dominated by a lot of people who are like brand new to the game and like probably weren't really playing a whole lot in the first place. So it's we're not like like the entire like Delo Sewer and like that friend group and everybody else who's been playing the game for a long time. None of them, not a single one, are like, oh yeah, quick play came out. Let's go try quick play. I think we're quick play gamers now. Like, no, dude, we're still playing. We're all still playing classic, but like for people just now joining into the game, they might try quick play and stick to quick play, and that might have better new player retention. So we're not like splitting queues, maybe a little bit, maybe like a tiny bit. I think when we add the rank modes in, then yeah, we will be a little bit more. But like the quick play thing doesn't really matter as much because you're just like keeping new player retention, and then like the old players are also still playing. If that makes sense.
No, that definitely does make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I just worry a little bit that like they're bigger changes, but like it just depends on who's playing them and how much it's taken away from the actual conquest map. I'm not worried. I think the game will be successful no matter what they do, as long as they have like our standard conquest, they have rank conquest, and hopefully they add like rank conquest or rank joust later, because they have joust, they have duel, they've been able to create the leaderboard for both now, which is what they needed. And they've talked about like yeah, I don't know. They talked about bringing in Joust as like a lower level play regular, and then you switch to. But I don't think they'll end up doing that because that's like it still kind of separates. It's really weird in my opinion. But I guess let's move on to our next little um, idea that I have, which is new for me. I want to scroll through Discord, and I'll bring it up on the for you. I want to scroll through the Discord and see if we can find any decent concepts or ideas from the community post, the feedback selection, and see if we can find something that we can talk about. How do you feel about that?
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
And then we have. Can you see it on Discord?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the feedback. Um, Lore and concepts. If there's anything you see, holler out.
We can start at the top.
We can start at the
The
top.
Yogi's necklace is something that's a big bring up. It kind of reminds me of Emperor's armor in Smite 1, how like when you have something like that in the game, everybody has to build it. Like one or two people have to build it on each team. It's like a forced item, and I don't think that forced items are good. I think it just like it. I don't know. Creating a meta with an item like that is just not healthy.
I can agree with that. I think yeah. I mean, it's kind of like buying meditation in Smite One. Like that takes up your relic spot.
Yeah.
Like it always has been. Like you want it. Like so they added it as like they added that as a consumable in Smite 2, right? You've probably played more than me.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's a consumable.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I think that's something that like everyone wants. Maybe the forced like item isn't what they need because like I don't know. I think the playing like having to get it, but there was two relics in Smite 1, so I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
There's not in Smite 2. There's kind of. I mean, but they also removed the mushroom too, right? Ananiba?
Yeah. That was
Amanita?
a while back.
Yeah. So yeah. We'll go right into the next one. I don't know if this is a good one. Change season to collections on the menus tab. Very small things. There aren't really seasons in Smite 2. I mean, there is seasons. They're just like we're still in alpha, so or we're still in beta.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like this is a little bit early, in my opinion, to be talking about. I think it's a little misleading calling the Wandering Markets battle passes. Is not all quite accurate using them at using the term market. Wait, seasons. I'm misunderstanding the question.
I think they're just confused on like what things are being labeled as. But like, look, if you look down at the bottom, like the response is like, it's called collections. Like they already are called collections. So I don't know. I think things might be worded a little bit differently in some parts, but not that big of a deal. I understand the misconception.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think about this? A removing worshiper bonus for winning.
No,
Like,
what? That seems silly. It just like kind of like gives you like, oh yeah, well I'll just play to play, and like if I win, that's cool. Like no, this is a competitive game. This is a game that you want to win. You want to walk away with a dub, and earning worshippers to do so like is why it makes you want to win. If you're looking to farm worshippers, then yeah, take some dubs and get yourself some worshippers. That's like the idea here. I don't know. That seems like a complaint from somebody who doesn't win a whole lot.
I agree. I agree.
Action cam. I saw one on that.
Action?
I like it.
Where's it? Where are we at? Where are we at?
Up to. After using action
Okay.
camera for a week, this is so funny because there was somebody in an AGL set that I casted yesterday. So I casted the Kaiju division, which is like the highest players, like the guys who are playing in Smite Prime, like Carr and Karmic and Tegveer, Twig, are all playing in AGL Kaiju division also. It's like where like even weekends in Kaiju division.
Yeah,
these are all like a bunch of huge names.
Right.
And there was somebody on that team playing with action camera. I think it's so funny. Like what?
How did he do? Do you I don't think it makes that big of a difference. It
They won
definitely
the
takes
set.
They won the set.
They won the set.
That's
I mean, it went
crazy.
to 3, but they won the set. Their jungler was using. Like it's so crazy. Like I cannot believe it. But I mean, they won. So I mean, you can't really judge if you're beating Tegveer with action camera on. Like it can't be that big of a crutch. You feel me? Like it's got to be just like a cool thing.
Yeah, for me, action cam is very interesting for me. Like, and whenever they shot autos into the sky, I talked about this on my last episode. I think I was like, I wanted to create like this little skit, but for me, I'm very much like I want everything to feel the same. Otherwise, I get really anxious when I play. Like, if something is different, like if I was to change my camera, like I wouldn't be able to play for the first 2 days, like at all. I would try it and I would sit there and play, but like I would like mentally be banging myself in the head, like, why am I trying this? To get used to it, just so I can revert back because I feel like there's more of a. I feel like you get more out of more vision. Like it's kind of like if you were to play Supervive, right? Have you played Supervive at all?
Yeah.
And you can zoom out or in, right? Why in the world would you ever limit yourself to seeing less?
League is the same way. League has the same exact thing. You can zoom in like farther if you want to see like more detail. I have no idea. I really don't have a clue. I think it's just like something cool if you want to look at graphics or something, but like I don't know. I feel like there should be a way to just like lock it at like the most zoomed out portion of like Supervive or League. Same thing like with here. I can make sense though.
Will we reduce CC? I want to see like an idea, like someone new coming in. Like I've had an idea.
Ooh, look at that! Killing someone should drop their FG rocks. That's interesting. Up 3.
Up 3.
2 more.
Oh, the first one. Okay.
That is a crazy idea, low key. I think it kind of like leads into snowballing, maybe. I don't know, but if you take down the snowball, then you get like a huge reward. It's like more than just shutdown gold. You also get like strength and intelligence not permanently because you can lose them, but like I don't know. That's kind of crazy. It also rewards like you splitting up the rocks instead of like your jungler always getting them or your solo laner.
Right.
Like,
or maybe like dropping half or something like that. Like because like losing all of them and giving them to the enemy, I mean that can be, depending on how many you have, a huge like buff, like huge.
Oh yeah.
So like, but dude, this idea is kind of crazy actually. Like this guy's cracked. Who's OP?
Yeah.
Spread
That is a huge
or
one.
spared?
Spread.
Spread.
Maybe I think half is a good solution to that. I think that's a really good one you put out.
Yeah. I. This is that's a crazy idea. We'll do one more. We'll do one more. Let's scroll down, see if we can find something. See anything?
No. It's a lot of
Fix the
complaints.
servers, yeah.
Loki stealth. Yeah, I don't see anything like super wild or anything. It's just
Yeah.
kind of
I made one a while back, and I don't. It's probably gone to the ether. I made one a while back where I was like talking about picks and bans, and this will never happen because I feel like it might be just too much work. So it's the battleground of the gods, right? And this is just my idea. I don't know how good this idea is. So what if we had like this mechanical kind of stadium, right? Like Smite, like we're like Smite gods can do anything. They're gods, right? So what if the platforms within each Titan room were together up above the map, right? They came up, floated up, and like connected. Both the Titans were sitting next to each other. You could see the enemy gods picking behind as they were selected, and then your characters were standing in the front. So you could see the enemies standing behind, then the two Titans standing next to each other. And then like they have this animation, and then after all the characters were picked, like and in this screen, right? You like they could like do VGS or reaction or like dancing and clapping and stuff like emotes, and you could see them or after you picked your character, and then like whenever the game starts, it like the platform kind of comes down across the map and sits into where you are.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, that would be really cool. I'm looking for a video. So there's like what that makes me think of is back in the very 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 early days of SPL. I think it was like before SPL even. Like it was like just like Smite competitive. It was something. I can't remember what it was called. I can't remember what year. It was like really early Smite 1 because like the competitive gods being picked up were like Cupid, Bakasura, I think Kronos was on there too. Like just really early Smite 1 gods being played in competitive. Sobek, I think, was on there also. But what they did was like instead of putting just like the character like picture, the card art, instead of putting the card art up and just like showing like a flat image, it was like the god with a background, and like it was like Cupid like hovering there with a Zero, and like Bakasura is like standing there like ready to go. That looked really cool, and I really want to see that done in some way with Smite 2, because now we've got access to the renders through Blender for UE5. Like there's a way to make it happen.
Yeah. No, you've showed me this before, like a while ago. And it's basically was that like picks and bans, or that was for like their league, wasn't it?
That was the actual like official high-res Smite League that they were doing it for.
Yeah, it wasn't like an in-game feature. It was like they built it as a third party. Or
I know what you mean on the in-game feature too, though. It just made me think of that. But I think it would look cool to like see them like hovering, like you have like the 5 portals, and then like a quick loading screen, and then you just go in. That would be cool.
Or like Janus portals, like they're standing in this room like above, and then like you like Janus portal down onto the map or something.
Oh, that's like some Mario Party kind of behavior. Like you see Neith like backflips in, like Sobek comes out of the water or something. Like that's some crazy cookery.
Yeah. I was just cooking, and I wrote this into the feedback tab, and I got like one reply on it. But like I thought I was cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought that's all that matters.
It got missed.
Yeah. So I think that basically a wrap on today's episode. Unless you have something that you wanted to talk about before we close out.
I love Smite. Y'all should go play more Smite. Double Whispers just ended, so kind of miss it, but it is what it is. It'll be back again. Smite's cool. Watch out for the Mortonman in your rank games. I'll dominate you. I'll hold you down, and I'll make sure you can't breathe. That's a promise. It's a
That is
Mortonman
a
promise.
promise. And then make sure to plug yourself in for any like social medias or stream or anything.
Mortonman on YouTube. I do God Guides. I do YouTube. I did take a bit of a break for a while. Me and the ex broke up, is what it is. Getting back into YouTube starting this week. I will have an uploads out soon. YouTube is the move. The Mortonman on YouTube. Also, I'm a caster. I do Smite Prime most Saturdays. I'm there for. Also, I do other leagues, AGL, OSL, whoever needs me, really. I just pick up gigs wherever. If you're curious on when I'll be going live, you can always follow me on Twitter at Cash Money Morty. No caps, no spaces. Cash Money Morty. I'll always tweet whenever I go live, and you can see me casting from there. So casting, YouTube for God Guides, and I'm also on TikTok, Mortonman, also. So
Okay. And I'll make sure to put all those in the description below. With all of Mort's links. I don't know if he has any openings for casting for anyone that may be watching that might need casting done.
let me know.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's a wrap for today's episode. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Go follow Mort. Go follow Mort. And we'll see you on next week's episode. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.
For sure.